Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to CGTN's special live streaming program, The Hype, where minds collide and ideas amplify. I'm your host, Zhang Zhenli, coming to you live from Beijing. As UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is visiting China this week, we thought it might be a good chance to step away from policy talks, but to talk about the UK-China relations from the very ground level. So today, during our conversations, we're not going to talk about policy papers or official statements, but what daily life actually be like in both countries. And in order to dig into that topic, I've invited two of my friends who've spent years living on the other side. So John and Yubing, how are you? Do you feel like comfortable introducing yourself?
Sure. Shall I go first?
Yes, please.
I'm John. I've spent the last 10 years working here in Beijing, where I was lucky enough to marry a Chinese woman and I now have a family. But before that, I worked in London and other places in the UK for most of my life.
My name is Yubing Du. Du is my family name. I live abroad for 14 years, actually just come back from London. Wow. So I was in America from 2012 to 2019, and then from 2019 to this year in London, UK. So when you ask my name, I always have this kind of like a fun joke, because in America they say, hey, where you been? Yubing is my name. And in Britain, and they say, okay, how do you do? Du is my family name. So it's a very, very fun link between this kind of like two countries with this, my personal name and also this kind of like greeting way.
That's a very nice way to start a conversation by like this kind of greeting. Well, speaking of the greeting, I feel like greeting towards each other is the very first words when you first arrive to a different country. So if you can look back to when you firstly arrived to, let's say, China and Britain, what was the small or like strange greetings you feel that made you realize the cultural differences like immediately?
Should I start?
Yeah.
Everyone knows, in your textbook, how are you?
Yeah,
fine,
I'm fine,
thank you.
And you?
And then you always have an answer, I'm fine too. But actually, it's never be the same from the daily life. When I was in UK, the greeting way is like, what's up? No, what's up? Even it's like, you're right? All right, mate.
What's up is in the
US.
What's
up is in the US.
I
so
never understand how to respond to what's up. It just doesn't make sense. But you're back to the UK?
Yes.
But how are you? I mean, you guys always make fun of it, and people here, if I say, how are you, they often say, fine, thank you. How about you? And then they start laughing.
Yeah.
But actually, I still speak like that. I think some people do speak that way.
Oh, that's cute.
But it's not that common, you're right.
Yeah. What about in China? So how do you greet with each other in China? Do you feel like awkward? Because in China, we always say 吃了吗 in the old way, but right now things is changing too.
Yeah, I mean, for me then, I find that my Chinese I can understand quite a lot, but it's quite literal. So when people say 你吃了吗 or long belong, particularly when I'm with my kids, I'm a little bit offended sometimes.
Why?
Why?
But now I get it. But at first I was a little bit offended because I took it literally.
Okay.
Why are you asking if my kids are warm? They've got 6 coats on and 5 hats. Of course they're warm. And then, then I got it. They're just caring, and it's a nice way of asking if you're okay and a greeting.
But I do want to add a little like a personal observation of this is that as a younger generation, I've honestly never met anyone asking, have you eaten to me in person. I feel like it's more...
I think it's changing too, because even right now, after I come back, I call it, reverse culture shock. I always ask people when I greet with each other, I say, in Chinese, like, 你最近怎么样? Like, how are you doing recently? And then people, sometimes they will feel like, okay, I don't know what to answer. But then more and more people know this way, like, okay, 我最近还不错. I'm fine, I'm really good. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, I think it's a generational thing, right? I experienced it, like, 你吃了吗? Long belong is always like an older generation, grandparents.
I've never experienced that. I even asked some friends of mine in Beijing, and they said the same thing. So normally, even if it happens, it will be older generation asking young people. But among our youngsters, we never ask people that.
I think there are so many small words, like for me in British English, like, what's up? No, what's up, sorry. The what's up in American English, it's you all right? You all right, mate? And also like cheers. And sometimes just kiss, XX. So it's very, very, for me, it's new when I first was arrived there. So how does that come from?
I think all right is a difficult one to understand, because if someone says to you, all right, they don't really care how you are. They're not asking how you are. If they want to know how you are, they say, are you all right?
Are you all right?
But if they say all right or you're right, normally you don't even say the you. Just
so
right.
If a Brit asks me, you're all right, what should I respond? Nothing.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right back?
Yeah, like all right is like saying hi. It's like a greeting, an acknowledgement.
Okay.
I think it's like some different tiers to it. It's used in different ways. With a good friend, you might say, all right, mate. Or all right.
It always goes with your facial expression.
Yeah, exactly.
And also your tones.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be different.
Yeah. If it's like someone you just first met, then probably you won't say, all right, it's a bit too casual.
Yeah.
You might just say, hi, hello, or how are you?
Yeah.
Even that one. But then all right comes back in the kind of third or fourth layers. If it's someone that you're just passing in the street or walking the dog next to, you just be, all right, you're just saying, you know, I see you and hi. But I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I just want to say, acknowledge you, but I don't want to talk to you.
What about mate? You know, because you know when we were learning English, when we was very young, when we were kids, it's like sir, like how are you doing, sir? But right now it's like okay, from sir to mate.
And I can also relate to that. Is like whenever I talk to a Brits, they always ask me, they always say something like cheers. But what are you cheering for? Like because you know in China normally when we say cheers, it's definitely related to drinking. And if, for example, if I raise a glass and I would say cheers, but if you're not drinking, what do you cheer for?
Yeah, cheers has kind of evolved from being a greeting of saying like clinking glasses, cheers, to being a thank you, mainly a thank you, and also kind of a half of the way between thank you and goodbye.
Yeah.
So you buy something, you buy a cheers, or somebody helps you out with something, or you've just had a nice time with them, cheers on the way out.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, and mate, yeah.
Oh, okay. Will you feel offended if, like, now Brits speaking cheers mates to another Brits?
No, not for the most part. I mean, normally it's quite a nice, if it's someone in China, for example, like, say, if Yubin did it to me, then I'd find it quite endearing. Like, he was trying to, like, be friendly and fit in with the British culture. Are there, like, similar words in Chinese for mate?
Oh, 伙计 or 朋友, a friend or 哥们儿. Yes, it's kind of like a pal, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and I remember there's another way. It's always a kind of like a very short way. T something, like you know, in the very end of the note, T something. Do you know that? What's that?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
For the mate?
No, it's not for me. I feel it's kind of like thank you or something.
Ta.
Ta, yeah. Thank you. It's a T-A. Ta.
Yeah. Ta for that.
Yeah.
One of the things with Britain, I mean, it's the same in China to an extent, but because Britain's kind of so much smaller, it's condensed. But there's so many different regions and regional accents
Ta is
and sayings.
thanks a lot.
Yeah, I mean, ta is normally like more like a northern thing, a northern British thing.
Yeah.
Say ta.
Ta.
And also for greetings, like in the north, then you say things like thanks flower, hi flower.
Hi flower.
Hi petal. Like nicknames come out with it with people you don't know. So if you go into a shop in, I don't know, in Newcastle where I was born, then people often call you flower or petal.
Oh,
like that.
I experienced like they always say, hey love. I was like, oh my gosh, is that too much? But actually it's a very friendly way to show, you know, your welcome or hospitality. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey love. It's really, it's very good. It's very impressive how the first time when you realize it's kind of like very different cultures for greetings. So like the XX, kiss.
Yeah.
Because one time I received this kind of like note from one of my colleagues. I feel like, oh my gosh, what does that mean? Is that too much? And then gradually I know, okay, it's not only just a note, but also a way of showing friend. You know, it's kind of like very, very, not only for work but also a gesture.
Yeah, if someone doesn't like you, don't get the kisses. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, it's really nice to know each other, how we greet to each other. There's like a lot behind it. And you know, when we started our live stream, it was like something past 7 p.m. Beijing time, and that's, I think, nearly lunchtime in the UK,
11
right?
time a.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that made me feel like I can't help but talk about food.
Yeah.
How about let's switch our conversation into eating a little bit.
I'm worried about where you're going. I know the reputation British food has.
Fish and chips. That's very, very classic British food.
Since you mentioned that out, let's say I do hear some rumors saying that British foods, let me put it this way, like not so exciting.
So polite.
How's your take on that? Do you think it still matches with the reality nowadays?
Yeah, I'm offended.
I'm sorry.
Not I mean, not my set.
No, I think it's true. Like the British food by tradition is quite heavy. It's a lot of pies, and it tends to be built around potato, meat, vegetables,
beans.
in various different ways, like stews or casseroles or pies. It's still kind of like that, but I mean, that's what I grew up on, so I can't complain about it. But I think the thing that people often miss about Britain from the outside and its culinary culture is that they have these traditional dishes which are pleasant, but they're not famous around the world or loved around the world. But because it's such a multicultural society, there's so many people there from different backgrounds, from different societies, that you get food of top quality from all over the world.
I have to say something about that. I think one of the food I taste really good is the Sunday roast. It's related with one of my experience with the friends. So we were going there for hiking, and when you're really tired, you can have some Sunday roast, a part of meat and also part of vegetables and also some beer to drink. And another one is I remember it's called farmer's plow. Is that right? Farmer's plow. So you have some cheese, some fruits, and also some bread.
Yeah,
I remember also have some plum. Yeah, it's really good. So it's not exactly to say, okay, it's a food really disaster country, I'm sorry. But I mean, right now in London, if you're going there, there's so much different kinds of food in London. It's open, it's an international city. So you can find almost all the different kinds of food in London. Indian, Chinese, Latin food, Mexico, German, French, everything. So it's lots of choices.
Every town you go to in Britain, and there's a Chinese restaurant and an Indian restaurant as well as sometimes a fish and chip shop, and other more local stuff. How did you find it? Did you adapt quickly to the food in Britain?
I have to say I have a Chinese stomach. So I have lots of Chinese food there when I was in London. Even my British friends say, okay, you should adapt it to your own culture. Even right now, you are still work for a Chinese company. I said, okay, this is something maybe I cannot change at all. So I have lots of Chinese food, also not only by myself cooking, but also trying to taste some different food by the Chinese restaurant. I have to say there are some changes from the old times to right now in this kind of like the Chinese restaurants in London and UK. Before it's more about Cantonese food because the first immigration is mainly from that coastal cities, Zhejiang, Fujian, and also maybe Fujian and Guangdong. So it's mainly the Cantonese food. But right now, if you're in like London, Sichuan food, hot pot, Hunan food, all different kind of like foods of the Chinese food you can find.
Is there, because since I'm from Yunnan, is there any Yunnan cuisine there?
I think they should, but not that much. So maybe it is really good business.
I just found a way, to start my business.
Yeah.
Good excuse for a holiday, and you can check out if there's space for you.
Yeah. And is there any food that you also had the same food here in China and also in the UK, but it tastes so different? For example, dessert, maybe? Is there anything?
I mean, the traditional British desserts are very, very heavy. Quite sweet, but not too sweet.
Which one?
Things like the
Christmas one.
Yeah, the Christmas pudding, but like the spotted dick and toffee pudding. It's like sponge covered in caramel, so it's delicious. But you can't eat too much of it.
But now, have you tried the dessert in China? Do you feel when you taste it? Do you feel like too mild?
I feel it's quite light and often chilled.
I think what is the highest complimentary for the feedback for the Chinese dessert is not that sweet.
Yeah. For us, when we're ordering like bubble tea, there's different levels you can choose, like 30%, 0%, 50%, 75% of the sugar, and maybe 100%. But I do hear from one of my Britain friends told me that they have 200% sugar if you're ordering bubble tea in UK.
They're gonna be very sweet.
Yeah, they're really localized.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, people in Britain are quite famous for the drinking tea, of course.
Yes, of course.
But certain people are famous for putting in like 10, 15 spoons of sugar into their tea.
I think the very distinct difference between Chinese tea and the British one is always about milk. So we never put Chinese in general. We never put milk, in the traditional way of when you're drinking tea. But the milk tea or nai cha or like the bubble tea right now become a new trend. It's a really good kind of like innovation or the Chinese contribution to the world.
Well, before we dig deeper into the tea conversation, I have one more question, because I heard some people may find it strange when they first arrived in China, saying Chinese people eating from a shared plate. And do you have that similar feeling when you go to UK? I
think it's a really big cultural difference because if you say this is like a daily phenomenon, you can see it everywhere. In Chinese, we share food all the time. You have your own plate, but you use chopsticks to get the food from the big plates. Sometimes, right now, I think it's from healthy perspective. We're using shared chopsticks, and then you use your personal chopsticks to have your food. But in general, like lazy Susan table, everyone sitting together, have food together. That is the reflection of the Chinese culture. That is family and the community core. That is for thousands of years of the Chinese culture.
Yeah.
I think that's a very different.
Yeah. Do you ever wish that someone just gave you a plate of food and you kept it yourself, though? Oh, really?
Not really.
It's just different, but I mean, it has own advantages and disadvantages, like on the one coin, two sides.
Yeah, I think it's very reflective of the different societies.
So how do you feel about having food with the Chinese people? Did you feel like it's too much?
I'm very used to it now.
Okay.
And I'm fine with it. I think it's a lovely thing to do, to share, and it's a good topic of conversation. Pass this one, pass that one. It's much more interesting and lively than just sitting with your plate of food, as we tend to in Britain. But yeah, sometimes I find it a little bit over the top, particularly when people are trying to feed me.
Yeah.
That's the bit that I don't like so
They're
much.
trying to show their hospitality.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. But when you think about Chinese New Year and Christmas, like in different cultures, it's have their own similarities, but also sometimes different. Like what you said, where when you're having food, it's a little bit different, but the core value it's the same. It's a family. It's about sharing, care about each other. In the UK culture, giving gift during Christmas time, and in Chinese culture, giving red pocket bao to your friend, to your kids. Basically, not friends, kids, because you are showing you are the older one to give the kids. So that's something in common. So when you think about that, it's fascinating.
Yeah, I think also the Spring Festival, a big banquet, and also the Christmas dinner in Britain, if it's a big family, actually it is more of a sharing culture. You tend to have a big plates of vegetables and potatoes and sauces, and you're sharing them all. So I guess actually those two are fairly similar experiences.
Yes, that's great.
Is there any eating habits that you like? I didn't know it was so British until you leave Britain, for both of you.
Ooh,
so British. I think it's a difficult question.
I mean, for me, eating, I'm not sure. I mean, the one you mentioned earlier about the tea, like for me, I've always put milk in my tea. The idea that it was an odd thing to do hadn't really crossed my mind. And so when my family members see me doing it now, they're always, what are you doing? Like I'm doing something awful. So that's one of the ones which I never realized before it was such an odd thing to do.
The answer for that question, maybe I think the tea is also great example of that. Like you add that, not my tea.
Yeah, not my cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea. It's kind of like, it's just not literally not cup of tea. Actually, I want to share this. So this is a teacup I would like to show everyone. This is a teacup. I bring it back from London, actually Buckingham Palace.
So
wow,
fancy.
really?
The royal family teacup. It's kind of like the bone porcelain, started from China, but right now it's a very British style. I use it for the tea and for both British tea and Chinese tea. I think it's a really great connection between Chinese and British history and cultures. Although some parts maybe not that much pleasant, but we can definitely tell the British people loves tea, and then import tea from China. Historically, and it's a huge, not only a daily lifestyle, but also business. So the trade deficit is huge. And then comes the Opium War, because of they are trying to have the trade balance. And then, we have after the Opium War, we have the Hong Kong. We also have 5 cities opened to the British. And then, after second Opium War, more and more ports and cities opened to the world. It's kind of like the beginning of the modern history of China. So China realized, okay, we have to catch up. We have to, be our very, very strong Chinese people. So it's a kind of like lesson, but also it's a connection between China and the UK.
Yeah, and it's kind of enduring, I think, because tea, even these days, is coming from China to UK for the big tea companies, and then being sold back here in China even sometimes.
Yeah.
Things like the afternoon tea are fairly popular in parts of China. You'll find them in the big hotels in Beijing, but also elsewhere, I think.
Yeah.
Have you ever sampled the afternoon tea?
Oh, for me, afternoon tea is always, I order bubble tea in the afternoon.
It's very different. So the afternoon tea actually, especially, you are a Londoner, and it's a fancy lifestyle. Afternoon tea time, have a little sandwich, a scone, and sweet, and then you go to have some like Earl Grey in general. And the Fort Mason, do you know that brand?
Yeah.
Right now, it's also a big name in China. So the tea brand from Britain right now, going back to the Chinese market, is a great example of how the two cultures exchange with each other.
Bond still, I think.
Yeah.
What are the differences between, like you said, Earl teas
Earl
and
Grey.
like Earl Grey and the English breakfast tea? How many kinds do you have?
I mean, lots of teas are drunk in Britain, but I guess the predominant one is the English breakfast.
Yeah.
But Earl Grey is, I guess it's just a bit more citrusy. Maybe it has a touch of lemon to it. So it tastes a little bit more fruity than the more bitter English breakfast.
The English breakfast and also Earl Grey are developed from the own kind of like styles of the British tea. So originally come from China, and then they try to plant it in Indian plantation. So it developed from that two types of the tea, and then added a little bit, the fruit or the milk. So it gradually become English tea. But I remember one of the historian I interviewed before in UK. He said tea actually changed the Britain history, because at that time, all of the people know that Britain at that time the water quality was not good. So lots of the disease coming from the poor quality of the water. So that's why there are two types of the beverage coming from. One is boiled water with tea, and another one is beer. So that's how they solve the problem of the drinking. And then because of the tea have the caffeinated, and it brings the spirit for the working class. So the workforce have more and more energy. And he said it promoted the industrialization of the Britain history.
Makes sense.
So a bit less beer and a bit more tea.
Yes, I bet so.
Oh, that's interesting theory. I've never heard that before. So from your being a Chinese, what's the difference that you can tell from the Chinese kind of tea to a British tea?
For me, I can tell the story. When I was just arrived in London, one of my colleagues, his name is Simon. Hi, Simon. Simon Morris, one of my colleagues, and he really did a great documentary. So he said he's a tea lover. And for me, I said, okay, I am a tea lover too. I know a lot of the Chinese tea knowledge. And then he showed me he has this kind of like,
delicate.
The very, very big plate. And then a very big teapot. It's yellow and have a tea cozy. It's like jumper for the tea. And then 2 cups and a little bit of filter. And then I said, okay, I will show you a little bit of how I make tea. And then he just go to the kitchen in the office and then have some very small tea leaves. It's not like the loose tea leaves, just a very, very small tea. And then just put some hot water and that's it. And that's it. It's like, okay, oh my gosh. It feels like for me, if you are a very, traditional tea lover, we have a whole tea set. We even have a big table,
you have
the shared
rules,
cup.
the timing, the temperature, everything counts.
Yeah, it's also kind of like art to showcase how you drink tea. And that's like, okay, maybe just how we different, kind of like the way of drinking tea, but maybe just the love is the same.
Did you show him how we Chinese people make tea?
Yeah, I tried to show him. And then he told me something, like what's the tea style he likes is like Aung San Suu Kyi, which is a pine smoked tea. I don't think it's that much popular or very famous in China. It's one kind of like the black tea from Fujian. But in China we have more and more different kind of like green tea, white tea, yellow tea, black tea. You're from Yunnan.
Speaking of
it's
tea,
a hometown.
let me start on getting I'm from Yunnan. I think Yunnan is one of the major tea producing regions in China, and we produce really high quality teas, and there's so many kinds of it. But for me personally, I really like pu'er. Do you know pu'er?
Yeah.
You know pu'er? Okay. So there's 2 types of pu'er for our viewers. There's one called raw pu'er. So the flavor tastes more bright, like a little bit sour and kind of like if I can use a metaphor, it feels like an energetic young lad. And on the other hand, there's the ripe pu'er.
熟普.
Yeah, 熟普.
Fermented.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for that one, it tastes like it has this aged, earthly, woody flavor, aroma. For that blender form, you can imagine like a very old elderly man. So I do feel like having pour made me feel like this is the moment of I'm having my zen time. Like I'm just totally cooling down, and I can do all the things that needs my concentration now.
So is pour your favorite kind of tea?
Besides bubble tea, yes.
It's said
Yeah.
best to have the ripe pour after you have very big meat.
Yeah.
It kind of like
help
to
to
keep your
digestion.
ease the greasy.
digestion, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your bubble tea, I think, is also very popular in London these
Yes.
days.
Last year, I read an article from FT, matcha latte. Matcha latte is the most popular tea right now. The coffee shop option. It's I think it's coming from the east side, China, Japan, and then become a very, very trendy way of having drinks in the West now.
But I also heard bubble tea now has also become like a world. There's a new wave of having bubble tea. Like there's one brand just opened its very large store in the US, and that's draw a lot of attention. And I feel like for our younger generation, bubble tea is definitely one of the main way that how we consume tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing about that is like when you're in China, you have so many options you can add into your bubble tea. Like you can add fruit, you can add coconut gel, you can also add
Cream cheese.
Yeah, cream cheese.
I told this story to my British
That
friends, and they
face.
feel like, oh my gosh,
That look.
that look is
That just
very
sounds
typical.
wrong, doesn't it? It's cheese and tea.
I think you should try that because
Yeah.
it's very different from what you imagined. Like if you imagine like cheese put it into the tea, it's disaster. But it's like a little bit sour and sweet, and it's very light. It's not that much.
Okay, we can try it. You can film me and see if my face is still there.
It's good, I promise. You're gonna like it.
Okay.
The beer is another story because like the pub is definitely one of the different things in my imagination, like different from China and the UK. So before I went to UK, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not an alcohol person, so I will never go to the pub.
Okay.
But I was huge wrong. The pub was a place for you to have a social, talk to people just after work, like you can have a little bit drink. The drink was very light. It's like only 3 to 5% of the alcohol. And you also can have the choice of like apple cider. So it's just a break of work and the dinner, and then you can talk lots of things. So after the work time, like 4 or 5 p.m. before the dinner time, you can see so many people on the street. They're just holding a beer and talk, and huge place was so crowded like that.
Yeah.
It's very
afterwork
different.
drinks is
Yeah.
a big part of the social life in Berlin.
But I feel like in China, how we choose the social is still mainly in a restaurant or at the dining table, maybe.
Yeah, food is definitely a way for people to sit together and talk. And it's very different, I can tell.
I think the pub culture is a way for people to get together and exchange a bit of gossip and chat. And then if you're still with people you like, maybe you go in and have some food afterwards and kind of filter people off. That's the way it works. But yeah, it's
I think the brewing culture is very different. I don't think we in China we don't have that much brewing history. So like the Qingdao beer and other like the Chinese beer mainly from like the Europe, like from Germany. So that's a different way of like a consumer beverage, and also it's a different way of the cultures. But right now also like the Chinese beer, it's become something big right now.
Yeah. And there are more and more crafted beer stores opening all over, especially in Beijing, like city like this, Beijing and Shanghai. They have so many crafted beer pubs you can go to, and I think things starting to change. And also for our young people, the way how we view beer is different from maybe our older generation. Like for them, beer is just something you have when you're having barbecues. But now for us, like we tend to spend a lot of money on just one cup of crafted beer. That's something my parents wouldn't like. I wouldn't tell them what's the price for this one single cup.
Yeah, they're kind of in London now. Then it is also very expensive, even for a simple beer. But in China, for sure, then it's a growing industry.
I also know another beverage, Pims. Do you love it? Yeah, it's a very summer kind of like the drink. It's not very strong, but also lots of fruit in, and you always have the memory linked with Sunday, relaxed, having fun with
it's
friends.
It's very synonymous with Wimbledon, the tennis tournament.
Yeah.
Pims is a drink you normally get there, like lemonade with a bit of kind of cordial, fruity juice, and then full of strawberries and stuff like that.
Sounds very summer.
Strawberry in purple, white. That is the color of the Wimbledon springtime tennis. That's great.
Yeah.
I feel like just we mentioned about where do people choose to social. I think for how we choose to relax ourselves, watching TV dramas or watching films or listening to music can also be one of the major ways for us to know a foreign culture. Yeah, for me personally, unfortunately, I haven't been to UK yet. However, all my understanding and feeling about UK are mainly from the TV dramas that I watch.
So which one you watch?
Oh, there are way too many. I don't even know where to start. Maybe Downton Abbey, Peaky Blinders, Room Number 9. There's a mysterious one, you know?
Yeah, remember.
Yeah, and Black Mirror. And I think there's like one about football called Ted Lasso. You know
Ted Lasso, yeah.
But that's not very widely known in China.
Yeah, I guess that one's a kind of, it's kind of half American, half British, but it's set in Britain. So yeah, it's very funny though.
And also, I think, what else? Maybe something to do with 00, James Bond, 007, James Bond, and Mr. Beans.
Mr. Bean
That's
too,
very different from what you just said.
Although Mr. Bean,
it's a very classic.
Ron Atkinson makes the spoof of James Bond films, so there's kind of that connection.
What about you? Like, how does it feel when you first heard that Chinese people know these kind of English drama? Do you feel surprised?
Yeah, I think the first time I came here, then people were talking about Sherlock a lot.
Yes,
Sherlock
Holmes.
The Benedict Cumberbatch version of it, which is on the BBC. That was really popular, I guess, here, and I was kind of surprised by that, because in Britain people liked it, but it wasn't like, it was a big show, but it wasn't thought to be a global show. So I was surprised by it. Also, like you say, Downton Abbey, I'm not so surprised by it. Do you think you learned anything from it? Or did you get an impression of the British, which is...
It's the lifestyle of the old generation.
Yeah.
You know?
That basically matches how Chinese people imagine the British. When we say it's kind of like elegant and restrained, there's like a classic, there's a lot of manners. Yeah, that basically matches all the stereotypes that we have.
Okay.
About UK.
I want to share something. I want to share something like, for me, like 1980 generation. For me, when we were students, we watched Bridget Jones.
Oh, yeah.
DG 单身日记 is called like Single Diary of Bridget Jones. It's a great translation. So even last year, they have a new episode. It's fantastic. Later I realized it's coming from the classic Pride and Prejudice. It just, they made it into a modern way of this Bridget Jones, like the female person, like into a real...
They were really popular books. Helen Fielding wrote the books, and they were turned into movies quite quickly because they were just so big, and they struck a chord with so many people.
Colin Firth, he's definitely the Pride and Prejudice person.
Yeah.
Of course, you always think about Mr. something, Sir something.
Yeah, and still today, like what's that movie by Richard Curtis, which every Christmas everyone likes to watch.
Oh yeah, a lot of couples. What was the Chinese name is called 真爱至上, right?
Love Actually.
Love Actually,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a must-watch for Christmas time.
Yeah. I feel that has fed into a lot of stereotypes about Britain as well.
Yeah, it's
not necessarily in a bad way, but people really like it all around the world.
I think it showcases somehow of the characters of the British people. It's like sometimes it's restrained, conservative, and also like making fun of themselves.
Yeah.
Like the black humor, especially the Little Britain, this kind of like comedy showcase definitely of some parts of the British characters. And for me, I also have one of the very interesting experience when I was in the London's tube. So one day I was taking the tube, and there's one like a young person, I think it's just 20 years old or something, and he watched Miranda, the comedy. Miranda is like a female character of the comedy. I think that comedy comes from her personal life.
Yeah.
So basically, he's like very tall, like a little bit big woman, and in this comedy, she talks about her life and with her parents. Gary, her boyfriend, and also some of her friends. It's really interesting, and I think I watched that from that inspiration from the passenger of the tube, and then I feel this is definitely a great way of knowing British people. It definitely showcases some parts of the characters of the British people, and also there's another one because Great Britain, they have 4 parts: Welsh, Scottish, English, and Northern Irish, right? So Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey it's a TV drama about Welsh people.
Yeah.
It's the accent was strong, and the love story. You know, it's very fun for me. It's kind of like explore if how Britain is. It's not only just English and also Welsh and the different cultures.
And that show, they brought it back, Gavin and Stacey, right? They brought it back for Christmas this year, and it was the biggest hit of the year.
Oh my
Still
gosh,
loved.
it's great.
I think all the shows that you've been liked, that what's in common is that they tell something very real about the character of the British.
Yeah.
And often, like you said, by mocking themselves or making fun of themselves.
Yeah.
But they're very revealing.
On the other year, the year of the dragon, I made an explainer about dragons because when you are talking about dragon, they always think it's related with China. But on the other hand, the Welsh have the red dragon on their flag. And the Chinese New Year right now in London, they have a huge parade they celebrate in the Trafalgar Square. And when we celebrate Chinese New Year of the Dragon, they decorate themselves with the Welsh style. Oh. So it's a really great example of how the cultures and civilizations can, meet themselves, merge together and exchanges. It's a great story.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Also, at this time of year for the Spring Festival, then in London, there's often special showings of Chinese movies. So they'll have a Spring Festival week or a Spring Festival couple of weeks. And the small independent cinemas will be showing lots and lots of classic Chinese films.
What about you? What's your favorite classic Chinese film?
Classic Chinese films?
Chinese TV drama maybe also.
Yeah, films
TV
or dramas?
I grew up watching a lot of Chinese movies when I was a student in London.
Okay.
So Lust Caution, that kind of movie struck a chord to me.
Lust Caution?
You know that one?
Last Caution, I don't know. What's the Chinese name? Do you know?
I don't know the Chinese name.
Okay.
It's a very classic one.
What's it
You'll know
about?
Yeah, it's a love story.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a...
Who was the actor and actress? Who was the cast?
I have to get back to you.
Okay.
I always feel like Gong Li. You know Gong Li? She is always, famous in the overseas markets.
Yeah,
international industry. Have you ever seen any of her works?
Probably.
Okay.
But I don't know the answer for sure.
Oh, okay. You continue with your answer.
Oh, my other favorite Chinese movies that I kind of grew up with were the Infernal Affairs series, the kind of gangland show, which there's three of them, I think, but one and two were very good.
无间道.
无间道, yeah.
How come that film attracts you so much?
That one, I think for that one, then there was a real power in the story itself. It's just an incredible story of a policeman inside a gang and a gang member inside the police. He later became The Departed, which is a Hollywood film by Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. I remember they made it into a Hollywood version.
Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, I think.
Yeah.
Like, the story is just incredible. And also, I think for me, then...
Jackie Chan? Is that a choice?
No.
No, Kung Fu comedy.
Yeah, I'm happy with it, but it's not one of my favorites.
Okay.
I prefer those
what about
the more gritty ones.
Romance ones?
Romance. I tell you what, the one I really remember watching recently was the Dumpling Queen.
Oh.
You guys know that movie? It was
yeah.
last year, maybe?
水饺皇后 is talk about a real life story, actually.
Yeah. That one really had me in floods of tears. I think it was, something about it really hit me. It's an incredible story, it's a true story.
The actress was coming, originally she's always doing the comedy, but that was a great work.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wanzai Matou, that is the dumpling brand, it seems coming from that story.
Yeah, the story of struggle and like perseverance, and also the relationship with the mother as well. That was incredible. I think maybe it was just the day I watched it, but yeah, it really struck me.
Yeah.
Okay, last year there's two. Last year and the year before, there was like Black Myth Wukong, a Chinese AAA games, and also last year there was Ne Zha, a Chinese animated film. Does these raise any hit in UK market?
Yeah, I mean, Ne Zha, some, I think, and Black Myth Wukong, then, the China gaming scene is growing so fast and it's so good that, as soon it's going to be one of the leading ones in the world, if it's not already. So in Britain, for sure, it's been popular. And I think C-dramas, the micro-dramas, and the regular dramas, they've been released on Netflix and other platforms, on YouTube, of course, now. So there's far more accessibility, and so they're getting pretty popular in the UK as well. I mean, they've still got to catch up with maybe some of their other foreign rivals, but they're growing fast, and it won't be long until they're up there.
That's good.
The Monkey King story actually not only China but also so many different versions right now in the global market. They even have American version.
Yeah.
It's really fun. The Townsend the monk. They even have a actress. It's even changed the gender.
Yeah, I mean, this side of Chinese culture is really interesting.
Yeah.
The way that it's hitting the like Gen Z people, then it's kind of, you know, older people in Britain, I guess, interested in Chinese culture would love to come to China and see the sights.
Yeah.
Gen Z really getting hit by this soft culture, the dramas, the films, the music, and the gaming, of course.
Did you make any like, you know, embarrassing moments when you are living in China because of the cultural difference?
Mine are mainly through my bad Chinese.
Okay, what?
Like going into a pharmacy and asking for yang instead of yao.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Asking for a sheep instead of medicine.
Oh, yang.
Yeah, things like that.
It's difficult. Yang and yao.
Yeah.
And then like
yeah. My embarrassing was mainly like that, where I just get something wrong and they look at me like I'm a very crazy person.
Oh, it's fine. I think they will understand.
I imagine they laugh about it now. Yeah.
One of my most embarrassing moments, like in UK, it's unbelievable. I wrote that in this book. Did I mention that?
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
No,
This book, there are so many like embarrassing moments because of the cultural difference. I went to Downing Street for a press conference.
Wow.
And then I was there early, and I asked one of the staff, it's like, "Can I use your restroom?" Oh, did I mention that earlier? And then like they showed me to a real restroom. So we passed so many different rooms. I see the toilet was there, and they said, "Okay, that's not the restroom. The restroom is ahead." And then I see a guard, like, you know, he is sitting there just to finish lunch, is about to sleep. Oh my gosh, the restroom and toilet. The loo. Loo is the word for the the toilet
Loo,
place.
everybody will understand.
Yeah.
I think you also mentioned a lot in this book. Can you present it to our audience?
So, actually, this book, they have an English version called Haha Britain. It's really fun. It's all about the Chinese people's lives.
Is it all about your embarrassment in the UK?
There are so many. I think
there's a lot of embarrassment.
4 or 5 stories of my part. I contributed in one article, but there are also another, like the authors write about their stories. Another one also I mentioned, very, very interesting because the difference of the British English and American English. So there are so much rains, in London, especially in winter. So when I finished work, about to go back to my home, my trousers was wet. And then I talked to my colleague. I was like, "Oh, my pants are wet." And then he can't stop laughing because I didn't realize pants was underwear. Like, "Oh my gosh, what happened to your underwear?"
It's a bit too revealing, to be honest. But yes, I mean, it must be so difficult for you. You've come from China and then to America and then to the UK. So much to take in, and these funny little differences between American English and British English.
That's a very valued experience for me because not so many people have this kind of like cultural experience. I think so. I have to write it down, otherwise it just is gone, and I cannot remember it anyway. So for me, it's really great memory of the London part.
Do you think that your language, your English language,
it changed.
Yeah, has it changed? From,
I think right now my English is a little bit hybrid. Sometimes it's American English, sometimes it's a British one. But right now, my colleague in London told me, "Your accent is very British." I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you." I think I was influenced by UK a lot. At the very beginning, I didn't realize London. On the very first day, when I arrived from Heathrow and to go to the hotel, because at that time we're living a little bit like outside the very town center of London. I was like, "Oh my gosh, London is so famous. Why it is like so different from what I imagined? It should be a very fancy place." And then I realized I didn't go into the very center. And then gradually I like it more and more. And I feel I was gradually influenced by the British culture, even from the accent, and also sometimes from way of thinking. But I never learned how to be a British from my personal character is very direct. And the British always, very polite, conservative.
I think so, but I think the British tend to be quite direct, but in their own way.
Yeah.
So if once you know what they're saying, you understand they're being direct. But to someone from the outside, initially, it might seem like they're being indirect.
Did you experience anything like from the Chinese way of, encounter something when you are trying to express yourself, and then the Chinese people's way of communication?
I think one of the things that I've found out about myself from living in China so long is that I'm able to adapt to these different workplace environments. Because in China, then you are direct, and we work together.
Yes, I am.
But a lot of people aren't direct, and they're quite clear what they want, but they won't tell you what it is, which makes it quite difficult. So yeah, I've learned to kind of move myself around to try to get to where I think the person wants me to go to. But yeah, I think also for you then, I remember meeting you maybe 7, 8 years ago before you went to London, and you sounded quite different.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's definitely a change. Change by Britain.
Well, I feel like living in a different country definitely leaves those inks and marks in your vein, like change you in a way that you didn't even know. If you look back to your memories about UK, what's the spirit or like mentality or mindset that really impressed you, or still like you still have that spirit with you, even though you're not in the
That's a great question. I'm always thinking about this when I just come back from UK. I feel like something of me has been changed, but I didn't realize which part of me has been changed. And then I recall all of the memories and also like the people I met. I was thinking, everyone knows the slogan, keep calm and carry on. It shows everywhere. It's related with the Queen, and also it's always in the TV drama and also movies. But to be frank, this is not just a slogan. It is also, I said, it's a national character of the British people. Keep calm and carry on. Seems like from World War II, right? When they have the war from
the Blitz spirit.
Yes. So it's kind of like, okay, no matter what happens, calm down first, never be panic, and then continue. Yeah. Especially for us, like who we are working in the media industry, it's always tons of things gonna happen at the same time. You have to deal with so much things simultaneously, and then it's like, okay, if you can be a media person, especially in the live broadcasting of TV, you have to be calm. You have to know what's going on in your mind. There are many things you can think, and then you will show what is the way to sort the things out.
Yeah.
So I feel yes, keep calm and carry on is not just a slogan. I think it changed me a lot. What about you? Anything changed by Chinese culture?
I imagine a lot has been changed by Chinese culture. I find it quite a difficult question because so much about my life has changed since I've been in China. So I don't know how much of it is to do with having a family and things like this, and how much of it is being in China. One thing that I'm always very aware of these days is that my perspective on the world is very different since I've been in China. When I was in Britain, I guess I was not exactly insular, but the way of thinking is insular by the nature of the fact that you're just in a single country and you're not hearing that many different voices. You're hearing voices. I was a political journalist, so I heard voices from across the political spectrum, but they weren't really pretty narrow. And I find with being in China, then I see things that are happening in the world. Things, when I look back at British politics now, which I still keep a keen eye on, I see them very differently in a far broader perspective. And I guess that's kind of the value of sharing these experiences, working abroad, studying abroad, traveling, is that you do have a broader context in which to put your own experiences.
But to be frank, I think it's still not enough for the British people or the British audience, especially like for us, the journalist and also the media person. I didn't feel they know too much about what is happening in this part of the world. In the East, they have lots of things about UK themselves, what's going on in Europe and America. Sometimes I was even shocked that the prime time of the BBC show in the evening time, like 8 or 9 p.m., it is they were broadcasting by the American Bureau. So lots of the people are watching the American news about the American politics for the prime time of the UK's show. I feel like, okay, it somehow affected how people think. So that's why I feel like it's really a good thing for the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, to come to China and let the people know a little bit more about what is going on in this part of the world. And China is the second largest economy in the world. So much opportunities, business opportunities, and also like investment opportunities for the businessmen, also like for the cultures, and for the future, definitely. Not only for just the business, but also, there's so many things you can explore, tourism, education, and so much things you can do. And one thing amazed me is so many young kids right now in Britain, they're learning Chinese. Have you ever watched the on viral video of the Hollywood star,
Rosamund Pike? On the Graham Norton show.
About the far jokes.
Yeah.
And her kids, she has 2 kids. They are really good, like the Chinese Mandarin speaker. And the bigger one is the champion of the Chinese bridge competition. So I interviewed many like young kids that are speaking great Chinese, and they are trying to. Some of the people I interviewed, they're trying to bring the Chinese into the A level. I think right now it already in. I think that's a great trend. It's definitely something really, really good and positive, and it has to be done.
Yeah, it's a very positive trend, and it's also, like you say, one of the reasons why it's so great that the British Prime Minister is here, because it kind of encourages people to go further.
Yeah.
And hopefully over the coming years we'll see more student exchanges and things like that as well, because again, something I wasn't aware of before I came to China, but they're so valuable for people to understand more about China. You know?
I think that's the whole point and whole meaning of why we're doing this kind of roundtable discussion is we're not like teaching people about others, not lecturing others. We're just sharing. There's so much differences, yet there's still a lot in common between us. And the differences is what make our conversation, made our story so special. Because, I didn't know that the cheers and the mate, there's a lot behind that. And also, there's still a lot in common because at the end of the day, it's still about shared humanity. And we're still, I think the values that all human beings care, and the values still are universal and still are common. Yet we just need to talk to each other more and know each other more, and put aside our biases and stereotypes and know each other as individual person. And speaking of, you just mentioned in the coming years, I have to notice there's specific point is we're coming closer to Chinese Spring Festival.
Yeah, Chinese New Year.
Yeah,
this year is Year of the Horse.
How was your experience in China spending your Spring Festival with your family? How was the experience?
It's a big day, particularly that very day. You know, I've watched maybe 7 or 8 galas now.
Gala,
I've watched 27 galas in my life.
Yeah, so I very much enjoy it now and I understand it more. And the eating part, I have to say for that bit, it is a lot of fun. Sharing with the kids, sharing with all the parts of the family. It's a great experience.
If you have to say, all of us, let's share some blessings to our audience and people who are watching from all over the world, what would you say to them?
For the year ahead, for the Year of the Horse?
Year of the Horse, yeah.
Oh, for the Year of the Horse. I mean, we're in a tricky situation at the moment around the world, but I hope that we can get a bit more stability in the world. Stability leads to progress, and we really need to find a way to get that.
Of course, I think as you just said, it's really, really good. For me, it's like people I met in the UK and in China. We are all real people. They are good people, really good people. So I feel we should cherish this friendship. We should cherish this relationship, and we should cherish all the connections with each other. So for the upcoming Chinese New Year of the Horse, I feel everyone firstly be healthy, be safe, and be happy. That's something very important, and I feel you should enjoy the time with the families. Having fun, obviously. Yeah. That's definitely something.
It's the most important thing.
Yeah, you've definitely shared what I wanted to say to the audience, but then I will add one more thing. My wish is that a lot of our viewers continue watching The Hype episodes, because this is really good opportunity to let people talk and let us hear what we think about each other. And you can watch this episode on a lot of social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, X, Chinese WeChat, Weibo, and Douyin, TikTok, and as well as CGTN official website and accounts. So there's a lot of platforms you can stay tuned for our episodes. I think that's coming to the end of our live show. Time flies so fast. I couldn't notice that we've talked about, I think, an hour for now so far.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, time really flies.
I feel I still have a lot of things to share.
Me too, I really
You always have a lot to share.
Yeah, that's my love letter.
If you have to say like one thing to conclude our show today, what would that be? What's your feeling?
One thing that you mentioned there about understanding differences, also enjoying differences. I think tonight we were showing how much we enjoy the differences we find, and that's an important thing to look out for.
Me too, and what about you?
I think the shared cultures and also the difference and also the communications between each other, civilizations from East and West, that's great. And also we should carry on and also make sure we are loving each other, cherish all the friendship, and keep on the spirit.
Keep calm and carry on.
Yes, keep calm and carry on.
For me, as at the end of the day, I think it's never the labels or stereotypes that matters, but the people and the stories behind it that actually matters.
Yeah.
So hearing all the stories from you guys really enlightened my night tonight, and I hope you also enjoying the conversation, and I hope our viewers enjoying our conversation as much as I did. I think that will come to the end of our show. Shall we say goodbye to our audience?
Bye.
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 Make sure you share and comment.
Make sure keep on watching The Hype.